When OBPR makes a formal assessment, it assesses your RIS against best practice requirements using the 10 principles for policymakers and the 7 RIS questions. You should aim to have a RIS that meets best practice requirements. In assessing best practice, OBPR will examine whether you have adequately addressed the 7 RIS questions. In particular, OBPR considers the following. Does your RIS simply and clearly explain the problem and your objective? Does it examine a range of viable, genuine policy options, including non-regulation and options put forward during consultations? Have the benefits and costs of all the proposed options for business, community organisations and individuals been clearly analysed in a balanced and objective manner? Are the regulatory costs and offsets quantified and agreed by OBPR? Does the RIS show how the impact of the options will be distributed across the community, including on small business? Does it explain the purpose and objectives of consultation? Does it include an appropriate plan for consulting those affected by the policy? Does it demonstrate that the views of affected stakeholder groups have been considered? Does it recommend the option with the highest net benefit? Does it have a clear implementation and evaluation plan? Does it make transparent the RIS status before each major decision point? Was it certified by the Secretary, Deputy Secretary or Chief Executive before formal assessment? Was it published at the earliest opportunity following an announcement of a decision? Failure to meet best practice requirements. If your RIS doesn't meet best practice, you should try to address OBPR's concerns if that is practical. OBPR will communicate the failure of the RIS to meet best practice through a range of methods such as writing to you, outlining areas of concern and suggested remedies, briefing the Prime Minister on areas of concern, briefing Cabinet through coordination comment on areas of concern, through publishing information on areas of concern in the OBPR assessment, and determining non-compliance with the RIS requirements and publishing that information, including the requirement to undertake a post-implementation review. To encourage agencies to produce the best RIS possible, OBPR generally relies on the first 4 options. This reflects the fact that the RIS process is primarily the responsibility of the agency. However, serious departures from best practice may lead to a finding of non-compliance. Serious departures can include making a final decision to regulate without a RIS that has been the subject of an OBPR final assessment, not publishing a RIS at the earliest opportunity following the announcement of the final decision, not considering at least 3 policy options in the RIS, including the mandatory non-regulation option, not selecting the option with the highest net benefit as the preferred option, not conducting the appropriate form of consultation as part of the RIS process, not addressing the 7 RIS questions adequately, not having OBPR's agreement on regulatory burden costings and offsets, and not adequately describing the RIS status at each major decision point of policy development. Non-compliance with the RIS requirements triggers the need for a post-implementation review to be completed within 2 years of the implementation of the policy. You can find out more about this process in the post-implementation review module.